Macro-environmental forces. Los A. Identify the external factors analyzed in strategic planning and explain how this analysis leads to recognition of opportunities, limitations, and threats. External analysis in strategic planning focuses on macro-environmental forces, industry structure, market dynamics, and competitive conditions that influence organizational performance. Key external factors include economic conditions, technological developments, regulatory changes, socio-cultural shifts, and ecological pressures. Additionally, industry-level factors such as competitive rivalry, threat of substitutes, and bargaining power of buyers and suppliers are assessed. By systematically examining these forces, organizations gain insight into conditions beyond their direct control that may affect profitability, growth potential, and strategic positioning. Analyzing external factors enables identification of organizational opportunities, such as emerging markets, technological innovation, favorable demographic trends, or regulatory incentives. For example, technological advancements may create opportunities for new product development or cost efficiencies. Economic growth in certain regions may signal expansion potential. Early recognition of these opportunities allows management to proactively allocate resources, adjust capabilities, and develop strategies that capitalize on favorable environmental shifts before competitors respond. External analysis also reveals limitations and threats, including competitive pressures, substitute products, regulatory restrictions, economic downturns, or changing customer preferences. Identifying these threats allows organizations to mitigate risks through diversification, cost management, innovation, or strategic alliances. Limitations may arise from barriers to entry, capital constraints, or unfavorable policy environments. By understanding both opportunities and threats, management can formulate strategies that align internal strengths with external realities, enhancing long-term resilience and competitive advantage. Los B. Identify and explain socio-cultural, technological, ecological, economic, political, legal, and ethical factors in the environment. Socio-cultural factors include demographic trends, lifestyle changes, education levels, cultural norms, and consumer attitudes. Shifts in population age distribution, diversity, and social values influence product demand and workforce expectations. Technological factors involve innovation, digital transformation, automation, artificial intelligence, and research advancements that may disrupt industries or improve operational efficiency. Organizations must continuously monitor these forces to adapt product offerings, marketing strategies, and internal capabilities in response to changing societal and technological landscapes. Ecological factors relate to environmental sustainability, climate change, resource scarcity, and regulatory requirements concerning emissions or waste management. These considerations influence supply chains, cost structures, and corporate social responsibility initiatives. Economic factors include GDP growth, inflation, interest rates, exchange rates, unemployment levels, and capital availability. These variables affect consumer spending, investment decisions, and cost of financing, requiring organizations to adjust pricing, expansion plans, and risk management strategies accordingly. Political, legal, and ethical factors encompass government policies, trade regulations, taxation laws, labor legislation, antitrust rules, and compliance requirements. Political stability or instability can significantly impact strategic decisions, especially in global markets. Legal frameworks determine operational boundaries and risk exposure. Ethical considerations, including corporate governance standards and stakeholder expectations, influence reputation and trust. Together, these macro-environmental forces shape the context in which organizations compete and require strategic awareness to ensure compliance and sustainable performance. Los C. Discuss the impact specific environmental trends could have on a company's strategy. Environmental trends can directly influence competitive positioning and resource allocation decisions. For example, rapid technological change may require increased investment in research and development, digital infrastructure, or cybersecurity capabilities. Demographic shifts, such as aging populations or urbanization, may lead to product redesign or market segmentation adjustments. Economic downturns may force cost leadership strategies, while periods of growth may support expansion or diversification initiatives. Strategic planning must incorporate these trends to remain proactive rather than reactive. Regulatory and ecological trends increasingly shape corporate sustainability strategies and risk management practices. Stricter environmental regulations may necessitate investment in cleaner technologies or supply chain restructuring. Growing social expectations for corporate responsibility can influence branding, reporting transparency, and stakeholder engagement strategies. Organizations that anticipate these trends early can convert compliance requirements into differentiation opportunities, strengthening reputation and long-term value creation. Globalization and geopolitical trends also affect market entry decisions, supply chain design, and risk exposure. Trade agreements, tariffs, and political instability may alter sourcing strategies or motivate geographic diversification. Currency volatility and capital market fluctuations influence financing strategies and profitability projections. By analyzing specific environmental trends and integrating scenario planning, organizations can adjust their strategies to mitigate threats, seize emerging opportunities, and sustain competitive advantage in dynamic environments. D. Identify and explain the macroeconomic forces that can impact an organization's strategy. Gross domestic product, GDP, unemployment levels, and capital availability are core macroeconomic indicators influencing strategic decisions. GDP growth signals expansion opportunities, rising consumer demand, and potential investment attractiveness, while economic contraction may require defensive or cost-focused strategies. Unemployment levels affect labor costs, consumer purchasing power, and talent availability. Capital availability determines the organization's ability to finance growth initiatives, acquisitions, or innovation. These indicators collectively shape decisions regarding expansion timing, capacity investment, hiring strategies, and overall risk tolerance within the strategic planning process. Interest rates and inflation significantly impact cost structures, pricing strategies, and financial planning. Rising interest rates increase borrowing costs, affecting capital budgeting decisions and leverage strategies. Inflation influences input costs, wage demands, and consumer purchasing behavior, often requiring price adjustments or cost control initiatives. High inflation may erode margins if costs cannot be passed to customers, while deflation may signal weak demand. Strategic plans must incorporate financial forecasting models that assess these variables to ensure liquidity management and long-term financial sustainability. Energy costs, currency markets, and the global financial system further influence competitiveness, particularly for multinational firms. Fluctuations in energy prices affect production, logistics, and operating expenses. Currency volatility impacts export pricing, import costs, and foreign earnings translation. Stability within the global financial system affects credit access, investor confidence, and cross-border capital flows. Strategic planning must account for these macroeconomic risks through hedging strategies, diversification, scenario planning, and geographic portfolio adjustments to maintain resilience and competitive positioning.